Hello everybody, Kyle here. So before we move on to the video, I want to go ahead and thank, I believe we got 2 new subscribers. I think we went from 52 to 54. So I want to welcome those 2 new subs to the channel. Thank you so much for, the support, and I'm honored that you would, that you like my content enough to subscribe, and I'll try to continue to make stuff worth watching. So, moving on, you're probably able to tell by the title that I just got into Diamond League, so that's super exciting for me. For those of you that don't know, I just started this when I got into Gold, because Bronze and Silver are pretty eh. The first time I get into a rank, period, not every season. So the next time I do this will be for S rank, and then that'll be the end of this little series. I have a series called Finally, and then whatever rank. So today I just got into Diamond, or actually I literally just got into Diamond for the first time. I've tried recording this a couple times, but I've been having some weird issues. It seems to come and go. I'm not sure what exactly affects it. Actually, I have an idea. Let me try something. Okay, I turned off another program, just in case that is somehow affecting this. So what I do is, since the replay system only saves 10 matches back, just to kind of commemorate my first time getting to a decent rank, is I go through the replay. Now, in the past, it used to be that we would just watch the replay, and that was it, or at least for the Gold episode. And there's a new series I plan on doing, kind of like Epic Games, where I do commentary on replays of matches that were really cool. But in this new series that I wanted to do, I was just going to kind of go through a loss and then find constructive things for me to find out. That's a weird way of putting it. I was going to watch a game that I lost and then give myself constructive criticism through that game. So we're going to kind of combine those two today. We're going to do Finally Diamond, but I'm also going to give myself some constructive criticism, and hopefully it'll help you guys as well. Let's go ahead and launch the game and hope that this time it doesn't drop frame rate for some weird reason. The frame loss, for those of you that also didn't watch, I don't remember which episode it was in that I talked about it, but the developers did say that losing frames and then the frames not recovering seems to be a problem on their end, and that they're working on it. It's a combination of optimization and something to do with their netcode, I guess they said. It's hard when a player doesn't recover from a net, like a lag spike or something completely, then they lose frames and it just never really fully recovers. So that's weird, but that is the thing. And we're going to go ahead and jump in and see how it goes. So here it was. So my match to get into Diamond was against Henib. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it. A Lionar player who was already in Diamond at the time. It's not uncommon for you to fight people that are in a league above you when you get to the high end of whatever league you're in. Such as Silver, you might fight some Golds. Golds will fight Diamonds, etc. Now, I probably should have kept the Vindicator. I think that was my first possible mistake. Since I am going second, I can cast it. But against Lionar, since they're early minions, I don't really want to charge anything into. I went ahead and just mulliganed my whole hand looking for Egg Morphs, which I did get one of, and looking for 2-drops, which I luckily got one, but I need another 2-drop. And the Spirit Harvester isn't amazing against Lionar, since their minions have a lot of health, and for the most part, they have ways to then heal their minions. So that is definitely something that I can afford to push out of my hand. So I'm pretty sure I'll mulligan that immediately, and there we go, we get 2 good 2-drops. Now I'm about to do something here that is a bit of a mistake, and that is I played the Young Silthar here, and then the Mystic afterwards. What I feel like I should have done is play the Young Silthar up here, and I'll tell you why. Let me pause. And the reason why I think I should have done that is because it takes both the General and his unit to kill the Mystic. So, most likely, I imagine he'll walk up here and hit it, she'll come either here or there and attack it, and then he can play something and take this crystal. Now, if I had placed my Young Silthar here instead of putting the Mystic there, then if they wanted to kill my Mystic, they would have had to both walk over here into these 2 spaces to kill the Mystic, and it would have kept me in charge of the Mana Crystal. But since, you know what I'm saying? Because they don't want to kill this because it's going to drop an egg. So they're really accomplishing nothing besides making it a 0-1 for one of my turns, which isn't that bad for me early on. So if I put my Young Silthar up here, they would have been forced to either kill neither one of my minions and take the mana crystal, or they would have been forced to take 2 damage each to turn this into an egg and then not accomplished anything. So this was the first big mistake I made right there, in my opinion. This hand isn't too great. Earthsphere is pretty weak against Lionar, since they are a pretty aggressive faction for being control, but they're more aggressive towards wiping out your minions, and not so much aggressive towards always just killing you really fast. They seem to do a lot of big damage once they have solid board control, which makes it really important against Lionar to make sure you're always wiping out their minions, just like against Magmar. There are some factions, I mean, it's always good to clear the minions away from the opponent, but there are some factions where the minions are less important to just always fully clear out. I think mainly Abyssian and Songhai, there's a few minions that they each have that you can kind of ignore a little bit. Songhai not as much. I went ahead and egg morphed here to deal with this because it's a very decent minion, and if he isn't a play Keeper later on, you can't get a minion back with Keeper that gets egg morphed because it died as an egg, it didn't die as the Silver Guard. So she won't give you back that minion. This is a very thought-intensive match. And my hand isn't looking too great. I really don't want the Elder in my hand this early, and I'll probably switch that out. But the Archon Spellbinder is also not super amazing, because it basically turns Martyrdom into a 3-mana removal spell that again just flat removes it. The benefit being, though, that even if we take a lot of damage early on... Oh, and now here's another thing, too. Since I didn't kill this Mystic, I messed up. I forgot to say something. Earlier, when that egg was here, I attacked it with my minion to preserve health on my minion. That was the mistake. I should have attacked it with me, because then my young Silthar could have moved up here and finished off the Mystic that was over here. But since I didn't do that, I got stuck in this weird position where he was able to grab this mana crystal with an injured minion and then move down and grab this one. I could have denied him both of, the ability to take both of those mana crystals in one turn. So he had a huge power play this turn because of another misplay. So at this point in time, I was feeling, and I was noticing these misplays as I was playing. So I was really feeling not confident in this match at this point in time. Because if you look at our board states and everything, we're just not very good right now. So here I went ahead and just took out the 4/4, and I cast my Rejuvenator. The only issue with this is if he does have Holy Immolation, they're both going to die, but that's something against Lionar you just kind of have to live with. Sometimes you kind of want to bait out the Holy Immolation. Pardon me, I get hiccups. I get hiccups a lot for some reason when I record. You kind of want to try to bait out the Holy Immolations when you can. Oh, what I was saying about the Archon Spellbinder is, even though they can get removed for 3 mana after the 1 mana increased, they are basically like a full heal on your general if they get removed. Because since Martyrdom gives you their toughness back as health. Still not the best, but it's, it's a thing. Same thing with your Elders. They have to Martyrdom it and kill the egg. So here he goes ahead and moves down. Not too bad. So here I'm thinking of just clearing this minion and double healing. Almost get myself back to full health. Now the reason why I made a line like this is so that if he does have another Holy Immolation, of course he has to choose 2 targets. Most likely he would choose these 2, since they are my minions, and that way he can remove both of them. But it does force him to get, not get as much value. And now that we have the Makendra Warbeast in my hand, I'm feeling a lot better. Because this minion is very, very strong. I mean, everything in this deck is, that's why it made it into the deck. But Makendra Warbeast is just very good at dealing with Lionar minions. Definitely good. Let's see what he does. Now, Dancing Blades I was not expecting. It does make sense as a Lionar card because it has enough health to usually survive. And if you can Divine Bond this, it becomes a 10-6. So that's definitely very powerful. Now, this hand is pretty good, but I want to... My only real way to deal with this is to play Macantor Warbeast and lower its health, so that way he's forced to either heal it before he can get any good Divine Bond usage out of it. I was really hoping that I could hit this, but sadly I wasn't able to get to it. It was just way too far away. Our hand isn't looking brilliant now, except for the fact that if he somehow cleared our board and dumped a lot of stuff, we can do the whole Metamorphosis Flash Harvester combo to basically try to regain board control again. Now, I can't remember here if he just attacks it or what. I believe he just clears the Macantor Warbeast with his face and then tries to surround me with minions to hold me off. Our hand isn't too great. I don't really want both of these Flash Incarnates in our hand, since we're most likely not going to use both of them at the same time. Here comes out the Keeper. Now this was a good thing for me that it wasn't a Rejuvenator. Just because, you know, the more stats, the worse it is for me. Now this is perfect, because he has so much stuff here. This will make a mini Jaxi. This is fine for us to go ahead and do the Wombo combo on. And not wanting to be too close to him, not wanting my Harvester to be too close to him, I backed up as much as I could. And this will go ahead and wipe his board and put us back to neutral. And we do have a huge health advantage on him. All we really need to kill him is a Vindicator now, so that our Archon Spellbinder can get Rush and just go over there and do 7 damage. We actually could have beat him last turn if we had a Vindicator as well, because we could have ran around his minions and killed him. Sadly, though, we didn't get our Vindicator like we wanted. And since Lionar doesn't really have a lot of burst, you know, by keeping their board clear of minions, it forces them to spend extra mana placing minions down to then use Holy Immolation and stuff like that. Because I believe the only, like, quote-unquote burst damage they have is, like, Tempest. Devastate, kind of. But Devastate, my minions have all been near me. So this was a bit of a problem. He was able to just kind of dump minions around us. And this, you know, he's starting to get health again, and we're surrounded. We don't really have a good way to deal with what's here. And the Elder, sadly, is not really going to help. So my best bet here was to try and wall off. So I healed myself, just in case, because next turn I was assuming... Oh no, sorry. That was not Earth Sphere, that was Eggmorph. So wanting to keep his damage next turn to a minimum, I went ahead and egged one of the Zealots. Oh, Adept. I went ahead and egged an Adept and then just healed myself back up to full. Because I figured, you know, if he had multiple Divine Bonds in his hand, that it was looking like he could do a ton of damage that turn. I'm just trying to limit what he can do. I think I just said the same thing 3 times in a row. Yeah. Holy Immolation is such a powerful spell. Twilight Sorcerer, and I believe the only thing he's cast this turn... Oh, he's also cast Martyrdom. So you could have Martyrdom or Holy Immolation. Either one of those can really ruin my plans. Luckily, we draw the super clutch Macantor Warbeast. Now what I should have done here is probably attacked the 3/6 and then played the Warbeast and cleared his board. For some reason I didn't do that, and I don't know why. But I let him keep this minion, which is a really stupid idea. Because if he had drawn Holy Immolation, all he has to do is Holy Immolate right here. Or like kill this with his face and then walk down here and Holy Immolate and do damage to me and Macantor Warbeast. I was surprised to see him making this risky move against me when he knows that we run rush minions. But yeah, see, there's Holy Immolation. In my opinion, he did that wrong. He should have killed this and then walked down here and did Holy Immolation right there. But it's okay. So again, we're not looking super strong. Like, I'm surprised we got this far with all the mistakes we made, but it looks like we're both making some mistakes on our ends, and that's, you know, it's okay to make mistakes. I swapped the Elder out here because you really want to have like decent board control, and to just try and survive, I'm going to make another diagonal wall between me and him. And I'm going to go ahead and use my mini Jaxi and just hit his 4/4, his Rejuvenator, because anything she kills after being hit by Jaxi will take her down to 1 health, so then Jaxi can pick her off next turn. With Metamorphosis in our hand, we also have the chance to come back again. Metamorphosis is just such a powerful spell for Magmar. When you're behind or when you have a weaker board state than your opponent, Metamorphosis will always help you because you can clear out the things that are going to be big when they like rehatch. Again, this is in beta, the game, and the replay system is a little buggy. So when you see him looking like he's moving my minions and stuff, it's just the game trying to interpret somebody else's turn that we can't see. So that's just a bit of a bug that they have to work through still. Alright, see, now she's down to 1 health, which is just what we wanted. Now this was a huge power play by him. It most likely could have sealed the victory for him, but again, Metamorphosis is a very, very, very good spell. So here the best plan is to Metamorphosis, and then to go ahead and get a Vindicator on the board to set us up for next turn, to hopefully be able to charge something out. And with the 2 Jaxies and me, we can basically pick off the things that are going to be the biggest threat in the future, which was his 2 Provokes, and I believe his 4/4. Or his Twilight, sorry, his 3/6. Yes, him getting a 4/4 back is going to be really rough for us. Oh, I put a sticky minion down. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Because I wanted to have the ability on 9 mana to play the Vindicator and then charge the Archon Spellbinder, and I didn't want to risk having the Vindicator on the battlefield and him doing Sunbloom, I believe it's called, to silence, or having a removal spell to kill it. Would have been really weak for us. So now he did something that surprised me, where when he ran her in. If I was him, I really wouldn't have done that, because at the end of his turn, it's going to turn back into a 4/4. And I'm assuming him being in Diamond League, that he already knew that would happen. Oh, that's right, because of Tempest. That makes sense now. Again, I played this game like a little bit ago, so it's not like fresh in my mind. Now with all the healing he's been doing, sadly I couldn't, and the fact that there's a Provoke now, I couldn't like just straight up destroy him like I wanted to. So I'll have to use the Archon Spellbinder just to kill his Provoke minion, and then I'm going to try to spread us out a little bit. We're both low on health, but again, Lionar isn't a very big burst faction, so I'm not too worried about it. I think what I probably should have done too is run my Vindicator over to me, so he would be forced to either Holy Immolate here or here, but not get all 3 of us. He still can't, but I'd rather split up my minions, so it's either this lives or this lives. We got a lot of health out of that, which is good. Main issue here being, now here I'm about to make a huge mistake. And that is, if you look at what we have, so between the Vindicator 1 damage, my 2 damage, and the 7 damage off the Archon Spellbinder, we can kill this. Or I could even summon, yeah, that's what we would have to do. You know, or I could even summon like another Vindicator and this, kill this, and run so that we have another Vindicator on the field. You know, like ran this Vindicator up or something like that. But instead I'm going to make a mistake here, and you're going to see it, of course. So I want to split my minions up, but I threw my Archon Spellbinder too far away, so it didn't get the bonus. I meant to cast it here and attack, and then move the Vindicator away, but now I don't actually have a way to kill this 310. So now I'm going to hit it with both of these minions, just to make sure that if he has Divine Bond, that it's not going to be enough to kill me, because if I hadn't done any damage to it at all, with Divine Bond it would have been a 13, so 13 plus his 2 would have killed me. But again, it's just a huge mistake. Also, this way, if he attacks the Archon Spellbinder with it, if he like Divine Bonds it and then attacks, it will still die. But that was a huge misplay by me. This turn he shouldn't have anything on the battlefield again. Now, my fears were right, and he had Divine Bond. When I saw that, I thought for sure I was dead. But luckily, he went for the Spellbinder, and again, like I said, his minion did die, which is what I was hoping for. But it was way more inefficient than it needed to be. That's also a little lagged. I said oops when I played my Archon Spellbinder in the wrong place. And so, you know, it didn't pop up at the right time as to when I actually said oops. So now, here's a bit of a lethal puzzle. We have lethal. How do we get it? I'm sure it's fairly obvious. So, you know, we have 2 damage, 3 damage, 4, 5, and this is our other 5. And since this is 10 mana and we have a Flash Incarnate, we can actually cast our whole hand. This took me a moment to realize. And I realized it right about here. I was like, wait a second, can I cast that other... I can. And then this was the end of the game. And there we go. So that was the game that got me into Diamond. It was very rough, which I guess makes sense when you think about diamonds, Diamond in the rough. Lol. I don't know what I'm talking about. But it was a super fun match. The game only gets more fun to play as you move up in ranks. Sorry, I'm still hiccuping a little bit. But I hope you guys also got, for those of you that are in lower leagues, got some encouragement from this, because as you saw, like, we were both Diamond level players, you know, because I got into Diamond with that. And we made mistakes, and that's just how it works. If you have like a decent deck, you know, a deck that isn't like all 5 drops, or like you don't have enough early game, which I guess is the same problem. You know what I'm saying? If you have a deck that has decent design, just grasping the basics is definitely enough to get you through bronze, and I would say at least mid-silver, right? Then by that point in time, just from doing your dailies, you should probably have enough spirit and cards to make a deck that is pretty good. Especially if you go for one of the factions that don't need as many legendaries and epics, such as Lionar, to really go to their full potential. So then, with that, you should be able to get through high silver and like gold. And then by that point, if you have just a super solid deck, like this one that I've had the community helping me with for a really long time, and then finally got like a final draft while working with Dresbo again, who the devs told me was probably the best Magmar in the world at the moment. And he helped me kind of forge this deck from the deck I had been using. With that, once you have like a solid deck and you continue to grow and grasp and learn, you can get into Diamond and above. You know, it's like you could get so far in this game and still not be perfect, and that's completely fine. You know, if I was playing perfect, that match might have ended a lot earlier than it did. But I made so many mistakes, especially early on in that match. And that's just how it goes. So again, take that as encouragement. Like, don't, you know, if you're making mistakes, that doesn't necessarily mean you lose the game. And some people that I run into, they'll make a mistake and then they'll just concede. You don't have to. If I had conceded after my first mistake, I would have conceded on like turn 1 or 2. It just happens. But thank you so much for watching. Sorry if the video was a little weird, because I had to pause it a few times during the video to respond to people, calls and stuff like that. So hopefully I didn't mess it up too bad, and I'll see you guys in the next video.